The following presentation of this Channel 22 Sports Game of the Week is brought to you in part by a generous donation from the Holiday Inn Express Hotel and Suites, South Bay. The Holiday Inn Express is partnering with Channel 22 Sports to help promote our young people in sports competition and academics so that everyone in our community wins. The Holiday Inn Express Hotel and Suites. Stay smart. The following presentation of this Channel 22 Sports Game of the Week is brought to you in part by a generous donation from the South Bay Workforce Investment Board. The South Bay Workforce Investment Board is working together with Channel 22 Sports to promote an environment where everyone can maximize their career potential and so that all employers have the human resources they need to grow and prosper. The South Bay Workforce Investment Board. When you need us, we're there for you. Welcome back to the Hawthorne Lawndale Channel 22 cable television sports game of the week. It is baseball at blustery Hawthorne High School field, and along with Beto Duran and the terrific Channel 22 crew, I am Lou Stowers, and we have a good game today, at least for the Cougars standpoint, Beto, as it'll be the Beverly Hills Norman versus the Hawthorne Cougars. We're just about ready to get underway, and these Cougars should eat up the Normans today.
Yeah, they should. The Normans are only 1-6 coming into this game. Lost out a couple games out due to rain. And Hawthorne, they split with Santa Monica last week after beating up in Compton 2 weeks ago, so they're on a roll.
Yeah, they sure are. They have a lot of depth against this thin Norman team that did have 4 seniors to start off the season, but then for some reason or another, they kind of abandoned ship on Coach Vonzie Pasinger, as Richard Riley will get the start for the Hawthorne Cougars, and he is a terrific pitcher for the Cougars.
Yeah, Richard Riley has really been the horse of this team. He's 3-1 on the season, has an ERA of 2.1. He's only given up 7 earned runs, 31 strikeouts, 9 walks, and 2 hits batsmen.
Just about ready to go, as stepping in the batter's box is the shortstop for the Normans, Justin Schwartz. And the first pitch is fisted up the third baseline, picked up and thrown across to Perry for the first out. He will be followed by Joey Axelrod and then John Skura, who is really the player of this team. He's the most valuable player on this team, and you see Joey Axelrod. Axelrod with a 200 batting average has 1 hit so far this season. And go over the rest of the batting order for you. Joey Axelrod, followed by John Skura, then Mike Kerman. Pitches a strike, so Richard Riley just loves to pitch strikes. Followed by Kernan is John Kernan's brother, David. John Skura's brother, David Skura. And then it'll be David Roston, Marcus Miller, the designated hitter, Meyer Linter, Charlie Bogart, and Matt Ross, the pitcher for the Normans. And for the Cougars, Beto will set the defensive alignment for you right after this pitch. It's fouled away.
Yeah, for the Cougars on defense, batting first, playing second base, you're going to have Rick Velasquez. And left, batting second, Gary Vaughn. At shortstop, Jesse Arcianiega. DHing for Richard Riley is Dago Perez. And playing third, Juan Chaidez. In right field, Tony Lee. At first base, Artis Perry. Behind the plate, J.P. Sepulveda. And in center, Eric Martin.
Next pitch is a curveball, and that's in the dirt. Evens up the count at 2-2. Just underway. And glad you joined us here as the Beverly Hills Normans come and invade Hawthorne High School in their Ocean League opener. That one's low and away, loads up the count at 3-2. Hawthorne is atop the Ocean League with a record of 1-1 with Santa Monica High School. They got a head start on everybody. And Beverly Hills is down near the bottom in 5th place. Here comes the 3-2 pitch, and that's swung on and missed. Strike 3. First strikeout for Riley. So Beverly Hills is 1-6, 1-5 on the road, and no record here in the early goings of the Ocean League. That'll bring up John Skura. Riley kicks and deals, and that slides outside for a ball. So on the season, Richard Riley is doing pretty well overall in the Ocean League. Has a 2.16 ERA as that one finds the outside corner for a strike. 1-1. Riley has pitched in 22 and 2/3 innings. Has faced 103 batters now, as the curveball is foul up the baseline. 1-2.
Yeah, Riley's really been the horse for the Cougars. He's their #1 starter. He gets the week going, and last week against Santa Monica shut down a pretty good team. They beat them 6-4, and as evidence of what Hawthorne's lacking is a strong #2 pitcher. They went and lost 11-2 at Santa Monica on the following day.
Now they're hoping that Jesse Arciniega can pick that up, as he was handed the torch from his brother Richard. But right now, he's doing okay with himself, but his ERA has to come down a bit. It's 5.15. No home runs given up by Richard Riley. Here comes the 1-2, and that's a high, hard one. Swung on a missed, and down go the Normans. 1-2-3 in the top of the first inning, and 2 strikeouts by Richard Riley, who's just really firing up the Ocean League early on. So nothing doing for the Normans, and the Cougars will come up to bat to face sophomore Matt Ross when we come back on Channel 22 Sports.
This broadcast has been made possible by a cooperative agreement between the City of Lawndale, Community Cable Television Channel 22, and the City of Hawthorne, Community Cable Television Channel 22.
All right. It will be for the Cougars, leading things off, Ricardo Velasquez, Gary Vaughn, and Jesse Arciniega. And then it will be the designated hitter, Spider-Man, Dago Perez. Here comes the first pitch from Matt Ross, and he looks like a crafty one out there. Settles in for a ball.
Matt Ross, he's about 5'5", 130 pounds. Lefty, he's going to keep him off balance, an off-speed pitch and a changeup.
Might blow away out there in that wind. It's 1-1 right now. Let's look at Ross's numbers real quick.
Yeah, Ross is 1 start. He has 2 losses on the season, only 4 strikeouts, only thrown 10 innings, and not many games. Has an ERA of 4.74.
And as a team, the Normans, that one's way outside, 2-1. The Normans have an ERA of 7.97. Heck, let's just call it 8. Don't like to say that about a team that's in the league, because heck, they're out there trying. Here comes the 2-1, and that's way outside again, 3-1. So Hawthorne's Cougars split a pair with Samo High, took care of them here, but then lost up at Santa Monica on what Jesse Arciniega was saying, just 1 bad inning, 11-2 up at Santa Monica.
Yeah, those are big victories against Santa Monica at home. Anytime you can beat a Santa Monica team who's going to contend for the Ocean League in the first game of the Ocean League standings, that's a huge plus.
Here comes the 3-2 to the first batter for Hawthorne, and it's bounced right up the middle. Tried to be flagged down by Miller, but it's a base hit for Ricardo Velasquez. First hit of the game, and it's right up the middle.
Yeah, Marcus Miller, playing second base for Beverly Hills, has a shot hit to him. He tried to backhand it, didn't get down in front of it. If he would have just kept the body in front, he would have had a chance to give Velasquez that first. Tried to go for the backhand. That ball was lasered by Velasquez. He had no shot.
Yeah, right off the end of the bat. He got all of it, right up in the meat part. And that'll bring up Gary Vaughn, who has a home run, but trying to bunt his man over. Didn't get it back in time, and it's cost him a strike.
How's that for Hawthorne? They're trying to get the runs any way they can. Gary Vaughn is leading the team with a .409 batting average. Shows sacrifice right out of the box.
Well, he's also doing well in the league as well, but the 2 big batters are on the other side for the Normans. The 2 top batters in the Ocean League, Jonathan Skura and Justin Schwartz.
Skura's putting up some nice numbers. 545 early on in the season, and he's 12 for 22. How's that?
Not bad. That's why he's batting third. This one might find a hole in left center field, and does, and Velasquez moves up 90 feet. Now, we got to talk about this infield here at Hawthorne High School, and it is the infield is quicksand at best.
Yeah. The fact that they were even playing this game is a lot of credit to Hawthorne head coach Jeff Hines and his staff and his players, who yesterday due to all the rain, did not practice, stayed out here and literally squeegeed the field. They're out here, and then the big problem spot's going to be in front of third base where it is a sand pit.
Well, here comes Jesse Arciniega, and he pokes one up, and it's a bunt try.
Yeah, and Ross jumped off the mound. Arciniega got the bunt in the air. Ross fielded it throughout Velasquez at third, cutting off the lead runner, and that's one out. And once again, Hines going for the back-to-back sacrifices. His team only put up 2 runs last game, probably trying to get him out early and get some advantage. But interesting against a young sophomore like Ross, and you're trying to get some pressure on him. If Arciniega gets that ball on the ground, we might have bases loaded here. But he popped it up. That's one out.
Here comes Dago Perez, Spider-Man. We'll explain why in a minute as he hits this one into right field. Had a lot of room, and this one's going to find right field for a base hit. Around second and third and coming home is Gary Vaughn, and he slides in with the first run of the game. It's 1-0 Cougars on Dago Perez's RBI base hit.
Dago Perez doing exactly what you have to do against a soft-throwing lefty. Wherever he throws the ball, that's where you want to hit it. Ball is on the outside part of the plate. Perez, who's being played to pull by right fielder Mike Kerman, drops it into right field, gets his 16th RBI of the season for Dago Perez.
And that'll bring up the designated hitter, and that's that'll bring up Juan Chaidez.
Chaidez playing third base. Dago Perez was the DH.
That's right. Getting a little settled in here. We were a little late getting things going, and now the wind's starting to blow all the old paperwork all over the place. Yeah. As Mike Ross makes the first pitch to Juan Chaidez. Now we saw him crank a home run in our last game with the Cougars. Big bending curveball, and that wasn't fair. They just bit off the outside corner at the last second.
In order for Ross to keep the Normans in this game with this tough Hawthorne team, he needs to mix up his pitches better. Right there, you see a big overhand curveball that just froze Chaidez. Now, if you're him, you sit back on anything off speed.
Juan, with a home run, also has 10 RBIs, has a Cougar waiting for him, but swings and misses. Tried to hold up, but couldn't, and it's 1-2.
Nice pitch by Ross there. This time he came a little three-quarters angle, threw it a little bit hard, probably a little slider that just handcuffed Chaidez.
Ross waiting for his catcher, David Skura, to give him the sign. Looks over first, now over his shoulder, and now bounces it out in front of the mound. And Ross with a nice throw to throw out Chaidez. And moving over to second is Perez, and holding over at third is Arciniega.
Right there, that hit by Chaidez, he took a big hack, but Ross doesn't generate enough speed for that ball to be flying out there. Chaidez was out ahead of himself. Ross pouncing off the mound, making the nice play to first get retired Chaidez, but he's still in some trouble here with runners on second and third.
And 2 outs, and that brings up Tony Lee, the right fielder for the Cougars. Couldn't hold up on that juicy-looking curveball, swing and a miss. Lee batting .238, has 2 RBI and 1 extra base hit, a double. That one's outside. Didn't go fishing. Now the team batting average for the Cougars is .281, Beto, and they have 72 hits in 256 at-bats, and they just are getting it done out there. Swing and a miss.
Mike Ross for Beverly Hills, he keeps throwing that curveball, bending like that. He's going to get it done for the Normans.
It's looking good as the wind, I don't know if that's giving him any help, but that's going from first baseline out to left field. And that's a slow curve, and that's cued off the end of the bat. It's going to be a tough job for the third baseman, and it's not in time. Lee is safe on the infield hit, and coming in to score is Jesse Arciniega to make it 2-0 Cougars as Dago Perez moves down to third. So an infield hit by Tony Lee, and it just died in the mud out there.
Just died in the mud. Charlie Bogart was playing deep in third base. He came charging hard, but due to all the rain and that mud pit that's essentially there, Bogart had no shot at getting Tony Lee.
So that'll bring up the big kid, Artis Perry. Boy, this kid has a lot of promise. first baseman today for Jeff Hines.
Artis Perry, 6'1", 225, sophomore.
I'm sure the next football coach here at Hawthorne would love to have him as a lineman or a linebacker or tight end, fullback, you name it. Right down the middle, just a little bit up. And that's strike 2. So it's 2-0 Cougars, trying to light up the Normans early here in their Ocean League opener. This one's cued off the bat as well, and that's going to find center field, and Drago Perez is going to find home plate. It's 3-0 Cougars on the RBI base hit by Artis Perry, who swung late but got it off of that rubber tip at the end of the bat.
That's what we're talking about with Michael Ross for Beverly Hills. He doesn't throw hard enough for you to drive the ball. Hawthorne needs to just sit back and put the ball in the play. And there, Artis Perry did the smart thing, just went with the pitch off the end of the bat, and it falls in.
And that'll bring up J.C. Sepulveda. J.C., the catcher, and he is batting .308. That one's called a strike. J.C. is looking for his first RBI and has a man out at second in Tony Lee. Artis Perry is over first, 2 down. Bouncer right back to Ross. He's going to go the easy way to first, and that's going to wrap up the Cougars in their half of the first inning. Well, the Cougars get it done. They get 3 runs on 4 hits, and they leave a pair. And going into the second inning, it is the Cougars leading the Normans 3-0 in Ocean League action on Channel 22 Sports. Back at Hawthorne High School as the Normans trying to get something going against Richard Riley, and they're trailing the home team 3-0, as it'll be Mike Kerman, David Skura, and David Roston in that order. And the first pitch is low for a ball.
Mike Kerman's one of those kids who Hawthorne coach Vonzie Pasinger is excited about. He's a freshman. He's 6'1", 185, and he's batting .389 on the varsity level.
Fastball, and that cuts across the plate for a ball, or for a strike.
Beverly Hills starts 2 freshmen and 5 sophomores.
Man, oh man.
They're going to be taking their lumps this year, but they're going to battle.
And Vaughn really is got kind of discouraged when all of his seniors kind of went AWOL on him, as that's a ball.
So what he was telling us before the game started, one of the seniors was his ace who decided to leave, the guy he was building his program around. He takes off. And, you know, the other seniors, hey, if our best player's not here, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Kind of
It's
discouraging.
called loyalty, you know. It's 3-1 now. That is discouraging, especially if you're a guy coming up, but then that gives you an opportunity as well.
Yeah. But Pazinger's been there 22 years, his 9th year as a head coach. He's just going to work with the kids that want to be here.
And there's a ball. There's an unusual walk given up by Richard Riley.
It's only his 10th walk of the season for Richard Riley.
So he's got some good control. And that'll bring up the catcher, David Skura, John's younger brother, just a sophomore himself. David batting .175, has just 3 hits in 17 at-bats, but Beto has 2 RBI. First pitch is swung on and missed.
Oh, when your brother's the horse of the team, you got to keep up.
That's it.
You got to do your part. You're going to hear it at home.
You know, it's yeah, my brother was the punch. I was the Judy in our baseball team. That one's outside. Snap throw down as Artis Perry tried to do one between the wickets.
Between the wickets, but back to your punch and Judy though, Lou. When your brother's name would be mentioned, they're like, "Are you Stowers? Did you ever take the credit for him?"
That's right. That's what even the counselors used to say.
Because if I'm David Skura, like, yeah, I'm Skura. I'm batting .545. That's me.
In the dirt. And it's 2-1. So Riley having a bit of concentration problem here in the second inning after striking out 2. So maybe he's reading the standings a little bit. And it's 3-1 again. Sepulveda throws it down. So Richard Riley is a senior and is the number 2 pitcher in the Ocean League as far as ERA goes. Into the stretch, has to pitch a strike and does. Loads up the count at 3-2 to David Skura.
Back-to-back full counts for Richard Riley. Rare to see that from him.
Yeah, let's see how he does here. Now he keeps the runner close, and good move by Riley. This is the second time that he's been on Channel 22 Sports with us. Boy, pitched a whale of a ball game against Lawndale.
Shut him down for 6 innings, and Lawndale did all their damage in the 7th when he was out.
And the last game that the Normans played, they toughed it out against Jordan, losing 6-5, as that was one of their closest games besides their lone win. Here comes the 3-2. Curveball, swung on and missed, and down goes Skura.
Skura went up and chased a high fastball that Richard Riley just blew by him. Skura had no chance off that. He lays off of it. That's essentially ball 4.
That's right, it was way up there, but boy, it sure is hard to lay off of when you're a right-hander and you see that thing up there and the wind's blowing out.
And you're struggling and you're trying to just get something going here.
Trying to get a grand slam with one guy on. That brings up David Roston, the left fielder, and that's under the arms for a ball. Roston, batting .222, has 4 hits and has 3 RBI. So when these guys are getting on, they're scoring runs, that's for sure, when they're getting hits.
The tough part is getting on.
This one bends outside for a ball. 2-0. So Riley laboring in this second inning. In the first inning, it was he did have 1 3-2 count, but struck out Joey Axelrod. That one crosses the plate for a strike. So we'll keep an eye on Riley with 31 at the start of the game, 3 today. So he has 34 on the season. So you can bet as a senior there's going to be a lot of schools looking for an arm like that. But he needs a little bit better control. This is 3-1 now.
The last time Riley threw was last Thursday. And due to the rain, hasn't really had a chance to get many bullpen sessions in throwing between the starts, and that might have something to do with his being a little off.
Swing and a miss on a good inside pitch that tied up Roston, and it's 3-2. Yeah, you're right. They don't have indoor facilities like they do up north or back in the Midwest. They don't have such a thing called a field house.
Well, they don't have such a thing as called rain in Southern California either.
That's right. It never rains. Yeah, that's a good name for a song. It never rains in Southern California. And it's not going to rain now for David Roston as he swings and misses. And that's the 4th strikeout for Richard Riley.
This is the example of why Richard Riley is one of the best pitchers in the Ocean League. This is his 3rd consecutive full count to David Roston. He was down to him. He's been behind batters all inning. And what has he done for the 2 outs? He struck him out. He's battled back. Riley's done a great job batting through.
This one inside outed by Marcus Miller, and that just lands foul. Oh boy, I bet you Mike Kerman had at least 3rd base on that one. Had a good jump.
Kerman doing the smart thing. With 2 outs, anytime there's contact, you're just flying. And he was rounding second. If that ball falls in, he was on his way to 3rd.
Marcus Miller can flat out hit, Beto. He has 4 hits in his 19 at-bats. He also has 4 RBIs. And out of those 4 hits, 3 of them are extra base hits, 2 doubles and a triple.
Well, he makes his hits count.
He can fly. So Marcus, the second baseman, looking to keep it going as it's in around the ankles. Now it's 1-1.
Yeah, Michael Kerman over at first base, who reached on the walk, is extending his lead ever so slightly against Richard Riley, and anything in the dirt, he's trying to advance to second.
Riley looks over there. Now this one is going to go the other way and into left center field for a base hit. Kerman takes a nice turn, but a nicer play by Eric Martin to keep the ball in front of him, as it just looked like a soggy green out there and just kind of stuck.
Exactly. Anything hitting the outfield, the ball's going to come up wet to the outfielders, and they don't know how the ball's going to bounce. It might hit a wet spot and just skid. Eric Martin did the smart thing around the ball, and he still came up with throwing, keeping Kerman at second.
That'll bring up the designated hitter, Meyer Linter. Linter batting 63. Has just one hit in his 16 at-bats, but he's got an RBI. Looks at a strike. This Norman team, Beto, can be summed up in the hugest two-letter word in the English alphabet: if. Swing and a miss. Couldn't even catch up, get near that Riley fastball. There's a lot of ifs. If they can get guys on, they got the people to get them in. 2 on, 2 out for the Normans against Richard Riley and the Cougars, and that's way outside. So it's 1 and 2. Boy, after kind of a threatening week beginning to the week, this is just a gorgeous day. Sans the wind, that is. Here comes the 1-2, and that's fouled back. So Linter is getting his bat on the ball as he's the designated hitter for Charlie Bogart, the third baseman. So let's set the defense for you why don't you set the defense, Beto, for the Cougars?
The Cougars, they have at second base Rick Velasquez, Gary Vaughn's in left, Jesse Arciniega's at short, Dago Perez is DHing, Juan Chavez is at third, Tony Lee in right, Artis Perry's playing first, JP Sepulveda's behind the dish, and Eric Martin is in center.
Well, Eric Martin, when he comes up, there's a story behind his offensive season this year. But first of all, the Normans, and especially Meyer Linter, they're hanging in there tough. How you doing, Eric? That came right into your wheelhouse there.
Eric, don't move.
See, Eric Chavez, that thing could hit him right smack between the eyes. He wouldn't have moved.
And he would have got the shot.
That's right. He's our man up here. Here comes the 2-2. Mercy, that tied him up and struck him out. 3 strikeouts for Richard Riley in that inning. That gives him 5 for the day. So no runs on 1 hit and 2 Normans left as we go to the bottom of the second inning. And the Cougars leave the Normans 3-0. Check that.
Reminder, folks, you can watch this game and all games this season. So remind your neighbors and all the other parents on the team. All games this season at 10 a.m. and again at 7 p.m. every Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Once again, 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. every Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday here on Channel 22.
We'll be back right after this on Channel 22 Sports. And it is the bottom of the second inning. Eric Martin swung and missed so hard at the first offering by Matt Ross that he came out of his hat. This one's outside, 1-1. Eric Martin, the center fielder for the Cougars, and what a nice kid he is. Beto, he has, let's check some of his numbers here. 24 at-bats, has 8 hits, has scored 8 runs. Swings and misses at this one, 1 and 2. But so that means to me that he's getting on base, and every time he gets on base, he comes in. But his Cougar teammates have left him on base a total of 4 times. So this
So in other words, if you're looking for an RBI and Eric Martin's on the base,
yeah, that's right.
blame him because you didn't get your RBI.
13 has not been lucky for the other Cougar hitters.
Well, Eric Martin's a big strapping kid, 5'5", 135 pounds.
Soaking wet.
Well, the way the outfield is today, he might be soaking wet by the end of the game.
His socks are going to weigh him down by the end of the day. Ross swings and fouls this one off the hands. He just swings. Should be an interesting battle between Ross and Martin because, well, heck, they're both about the same size.
6'5", right?
That's right.
Standing on each other's shoulders.
Was that Mendez for the Cardinals we saw last
Juan
week?
Mendez for Lawndale.
What a terrific pitcher he was, or is, and is going to continue to be.
There's some good young arms around the South Bay area.
Oh, yeah.
We saw some at Lusinger. Lawndale with Mendez and Riley here at Hawthorne.
Samo High always has some good arms, and then Culver City has a couple of really terrific arms. I do believe that the Centurions are on our list. Count is full to Eric Martin, who has battled away. And now it's 3-2. And this one's popped up. And will the wind blow this one? Here comes Axelrod and makes it. Did he catch it? And we're waiting for the umpires to say, yep, yeah, he did. And there was a rooster tail on Axelrod when he was sliding in.
Nice play by Joey Axelrod. A flare by Eric Martin. He's going to come in hard, charging. The wind's going to play havoc with it. And there you see him make the catch as he slides in. There's the water flying up. So we're telling you there's a wet field, and Axelrod just found out the hard way. Nice play by him in center.
Joey Axelrod making a nice catch out there. So after all that hard work, Eric Martin has to take a seat. And Ricardo Velasquez looks at a curveball in for a strike.
But what Eric Martin did there, leading off the bottom of the second, is he made Michael Ross work 8 pitches, but they were all hard-earned, 3 foul balls.
This one's a line drive right over the glove of Schwartz and into left field for a base hit. Velasquez wants to take second, but the ball gets in real quick, and he has to retreat to first base. And now Ricardo is 2 for 2.
And there Velasquez might have some thinking to do for Eric Martin. He gets a fastball in his wheelhouse that he just drills. Michael Ross probably a little tired from that battle with Eric Martin, leaves one up in the zone, and we really haven't seen him make too many mistakes, but there he did, and Velasquez jumped all over it.
As well, hopefully the Cougars were all watching Eric Martin's at bat. As Ross, a nice move over to first base. We do get to see Culver City right here, and that'll be on May 4th. So that should be a terrific game. As now they got Velasquez picked off, throw down to second, and the tag is made, and out at second is Velasquez on the steal attempt.
Nice move by Michael Ross for Beverly Hills, and Velasquez being aggressive. First look he got from Ross was a pickoff attempt, got back. This time against a left-handed pitcher, if you're going to steal, you go first move. Once he lifts his right foot up, you're gone, and you're gambling essentially.
Ground ball to second. That might have been a double play ball. Throw goes across, and that does it for the Cougars in their half of the second inning. Now we're getting kind of spoiled here, Beto, as these Cougars went down 1-2-3. We don't see that too often. As just one hit, but he was erased, Ricardo Velasquez was, and the caught stealing 1-3-6 in the rundown. And going into the third inning, the score remains 3-0 Cougars over the Normans.
And these games are made possible thanks to the Lawndale and Hawthorne City Councils for their continued support this year and throughout the years that we've had the opportunity to bring you these exciting games.
We'll be back on Channel 22 Sports. Richard Riley's first pitch into Matt Ross is in for a strike. Ross, left-hander all the way, pitching for the Normans, is trailing 3-0. And Matt Ross, the bottom of the order for the Normans, looks at a strike, and now strike 2. So the senior Richard Riley saying, hey kid, this is how it's done.
Showing exactly Ross, no better person to take some notes in from Riley there.
And you had some interesting numbers so far up to this point on Richard Riley's day so far, as it's now 1-2.
Yeah, Michael Ross hitting is facing Richard Riley for Hawthorne, who's faced 8 batters. But uncharacteristically, he's gone to full counts with 4 of them.
Wow. Here comes the 1-2, and that is low for ball 2. So 2 straight strikes to start off Ross, and now a couple of balls.
Matt Ross, he's a pitcher all the way, as you said earlier. He's looking for his first hit of the season. He's had 4 at-bats and a 0 batting average.
And swings weakly and misses. Actually, he foul-tipped it. So it's still 2-2. So Matt Ross wearing lucky number 13. Trying to anchor himself down so he doesn't blow away. And hits this one slowly up the first baseline, has a chance, but Riley's on it like a cougar on a mouse and puts it away. 1-3 on the putout.
That's a nice play by Richard Riley to bounce off the mound on a slow dribbler by Michael Ross. He doesn't jump off the mound as fast as he does. Ross might be getting his first hit of the season. There did the smart thing, field the ball like an infielder, made the nice throw to Artis Perry, 1 out.
Well, with the ground so saturated right here, there might be a lot of worms here that they could ruin somebody's weekend of fishing with all those squished worms out there now.
What?
Well, there's all those worms out there for fishing.
So how are you going to ruin the weekend of fishing if...
Well, you squish the worms,
Oh,
they're
you
not
squish the
wiggle
worms.
around.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, never mind.
Go wishing, go fishing?
Wishing to fishing. It's 1-1 as Justin Schwartz has his second try at Richard Riley. Bounced out to third base to lead off the game. Justin playing shortstop today. That one goes all the way to the backstop now, 2-1.
Schwartz, one of those other young players that we talk about that the Normans have. He's a sophomore, but he's more than carrying his weight around. Batting .450 coming into the game with a double, 3 RBIs, 3 walks, and most importantly, only struck out twice.
9 hits and 9 runs, and is the number 2 batter in the Ocean League. That is foul tipped into the glove of J.C.
He takes his
Sepulveda.
hacks.
Yeah, he does. So J.C. Sepulveda gets his sign. And is punched out is Schwartz. First strikeout looking for Riley, and that's strikeout number 6.
Richard Riley just showing the experience that he has as a senior pitcher. There he froze Justin Schwartz, who's a pretty good hitter here in the Ocean League, with a fastball in the outside corner after he set him up, throwing one up at his eyes that Schwartz was all over. This time, looking off speed, got frozen with the fastball in the corner. Good piece of pitching by Riley.
And a bunt try by Axelrod is fouled away. Is this Joey Axelrod?
Look at Axelrod if he gets a shot of his pants. And there you see his knees. That's from making that sliding catch at center field. And
That's
his
right.
knees are just full of mud. Jersey's hanging out. It's been a rough inning and a half for Axelrod.
That's right, a junior, so he's one of the elder statesmen on this team. This one's curveball is low and away. So Joey struck out swinging on one of those 3-2 counts by Riley in the first inning. As there's 2 down now in the third inning. And Riley looking to get back in the dugout. Fastball is low, though. It's 2-1. Home plate umpire, balls and strikes being called by Jerry Flory. And Steve Morgan is watching the bases. Here comes the 2-1, and that's fouled back. Might have been ball 3 to Axelrod.
These foul balls are coming Eric Chavez's way behind here.
Did you say something against the Normans or leave some garbage in their gym at one point? I guess not. It's just your day. When you're getting foul balls like that, the hitters are just missing them. That means that Riley's really doing a good job pitching, too. Axelrod looking at that one all the way now, as it's 3-2.
5th full count for Riley.
Here comes 2 down. Look out. And that's a ball. As Axelrod saw, once he got his senses back, saw that it was at the backstop, but wasn't going to take second. He'll just take his base.
Take the base, and that'll bring up John Skura, Big John Skura. 6'3", 250, junior, essentially the leader of this team. Also does a little bit of pitching on the side.
Yeah,
Started 3 games, has 2 losses.
This guy has 12 hits and only 2 strikeouts. Has a Norman at first base with 2 down, trying to do some damage and cut into this 3-0 lead by the Cougars. But that breaking ball cuts the outside corner, 0-1. Skura struck out in the first inning. And just a terrific performance by Richard Riley, who's digging himself a hole, but then it's not deep enough that he can't get out of it.
No, usually Riley's breezing through hitters.
That was close. That gets away from Perry, and down to second base goes Axelrod. Joey almost was thinking about taking third, but thought better of it.
Yeah, usually Riley, back to the point, is you can count on him to breeze through hitters, work quickly, get ahead on the batters early in the counts, and get them out. Next thing you know, before 5 o'clock, we're having hamburgers, we're having tacos. You know, as our crew's talking about what they're going to eat, I'm thinking
I'm trying
tacos.
not to listen here. When they talk about the ice cream truck's not even here yet.
Yeah, the paletero's not here.
And that ball gets away. And no, says Steve Morgan. And getting the base on the wild pitch is Axelrod down at third.
Yep, Riley throws a pitch hard into the dirt. J.P. Sepulveda doing a great job of blocking the ball. Throws it down to third where Chaidez gets the ball, doesn't get the tag in time as Axelrod slides around the tag.
Now Skura really has to come up with something here, and it's 2 strikes to him. 2-2. 1-2.
But if Riley keeps up this pace where he's falling behind in hitters, Lou, we're going to have to go for a late dinner, not an early burger stand.
That's right, and go out for breakfast. So here comes the 1-2, and that's up high, and it's 2-2 now as Riley looks a little rattled after a throwing error and the pass ball. And all of a sudden, Norman is in scoring position. It's 3-0 in favor of Hawthorne. Beverly Hills at bat, 2 down, a man at third, their big hitter up to bat, and is strike 3 called on a wide strike zone by Jerry Flory. And down goes Skura and the Normans for the second time on strikes. 7 strikes for Richard Riley. So no runs, no hits, a man left after 2.5. We go into the bottom of the third inning with the score 3-0 Cougars over the Beverly Hills Normans. Beto.
And if you'd like to know what is on Lawndale Community Cable Television Channel 22, you can have the program schedule delivered right to your email by subscribing to the Channel 22 program guide. Just send the email to channel22@lawndalecity.org.
We'll be back after this on Channel 22 Sports. Yeah, real nice, fellas. Talk about food.
I say tacos.
And it is the bottom of the third inning. It'll be Jesse Arciniega, Dago Perez, and Juan Chaidez. As Matt Ross wanted the second pitch of the inning and didn't get it from Jerry Flory, it's 0-2. Now check that 2-0. Ross doing a good job. Gave up 3 runs in the first inning, but now has fallen behind to the leadoff hitter in the third inning, 3-0. So our producer-director is very ambidextrous, has the right brain and the left brain working at the same time, as he's thinking about food and pushing the buttons at the same time. And Beto is salivating as now Arciniega pops that one up in the wind, puts it right into Marcus Miller's glove for the first out.
I think Arciniega was salivating at that pitch that he just missed. He sits back a little bit longer. He's going to drive that ball by Michael Ross dead into center, but he just got out a little bit ahead of it himself, popped up to the second baseman. That's what a slow thumber like Michael Ross does. He gets you frustrated because he throws these meatballs up there, and you're jumping all over him, and just miss him just by a second or 2.
Just like Spider-Man was out in front of that one, swings and misses.
What's the story with Spider-Man?
Well, last year, Dago Perez woke up at home. He wasn't in South America or Africa, 0-2. So he tells me anyway. And he was bitten by a spider in his bedroom, in his bed, and suffered an infection and had to have surgery on it to take out the area that was bitten. It was so bad, 2-1 or 1-2, and was susceptible to infection if his body got jarred in any way. So the doctors told him and his family. But he came down with the flu recently, and the infection came back as he swings and misses. And Matt Ross was wondering what the heck's going on here. He thought he had it.
Matt Ross was excited that he got Big Dago Perez out with that big bender. Like, hey, man, I'm done.
He wanted to run and hide right there. I'm done. Yeah, that's it.
Let me leave on a high note here.
as he gets Spider-Man to strike out.
I think he fooled himself on that big bender.
Yeah, that was a big one. The pot of gold was a strikeout of Dago Perez. And
So Perez gets bit by a spider last week, you said.
That's right, as Juan Chaidez comes up. And, well, not last week, last year got the flu, and for some reason the infection came back from the virus that the spider left in his system, and as it's 0-1 to Chaidez. And so he was out for a few games.
He missed the Santa Monica games, the big games that you could have used him.
That's right. It's good to have him back. So all of his players now, as there's a strike on the inside corner, 0-2 to Juan Chaidez. That's 1-1 to Juan Chaidez. So all of his players are looking for Dago to have any extracurricular strength activities as Matt Ross makes a nice play off the mound to end the inning. 1-3 on the putout, and 1-2-3 go the Cougars again. That's the second, actually the first time in this game. But you don't see that too often against the Cougars with their batting average. So nothing doing against Matt Ross as we go to the fourth inning with the Cougars leading the Normans 3-0, Beto.
And this broadcast between Hawthorne and Beverly Hills High School has been made possible by a cooperative agreement between the City of Lawndale, Channel 22, and the City of Hawthorne, Community Cable Television, Channel 22.
We'll be back after this on Channel 22 Sports. It'll be Mike Kerman, David Skura, and David Roston against Richard Riley and the Cougars. First pitch is in for a strike. Kerman was on a walk and was left at second base in the second inning. Second time he's led off an inning. Swings and misses at a good off-speed pitch by Richard Riley.
Richard Riley just pulled a little chain on that changeup there. Had Carmen, the freshman, just fooled all over.
Kind of looked like Matt Ross's pitch. So what was Ross doing in between innings? Swing and a miss and dropped by Sepulveda, but he picks it up, throws it over to Perry, who steps on the bag.
Well, Matt
so
Ross
strikeout 2-3.
Is the sophomore pitcher for Beverly Hills who has really settled down into his own here after a rough first inning. And he's walking around, pumping up his team like, come on, man. You see these big curveballs? I'm striking these guys out. Help me out here. And he's pumping his team up. But I'll tell you, the small, diminutive size that he has, he looks like he's a David Eckstein kind of a player. He's out there amongst trees like Skura, who's 6'3", stands about a foot taller than him. And he's out here like, come on, man.
What are you talking about?
I'm doing my job. What about you?
Ross makes David Eckstein look like Mark McGuire. David Skura, also a strikeout victim, as this one gets by Sepulveda.
And that's good to see, though, that Ross, a kid who has 2 losses on the season, and he's been hit around pretty good, and he's still having fun with it. Usually when you're on the losing side of so many games, you get discouraged. And he's not. He's having fun.
Yeah. David Skura, the catcher, his catcher outweighs his pitcher by at least 30 pounds. And he's up there chest thumping him and whacking him on the back of the head, saying, come on now, let's get going. And ball 4, and David Skura is on with a walk. So a strikeout followed by a walk. 8 strikeouts, 3 walks for Richard Riley as his, so-called troubles continue, but he's come back, has 8 strikeouts on the day.
Yeah, this is a nice pitching effort by Richard Riley. He's having struggling finding the strike zone, but at the same time, he's not giving up any hits, and he comes back and battles.
He's given up 1 hit today as Roston looks at a strike. Roston struck out in the second inning.
And by being able to go through this adversity and succeed, Riley's setting himself up for the bigger games like Culver City and even Morningside, who's been good this year.
Curveball, and that bends outside.
Morningside's 5-7. They're going to give him a battle. Hawthorne, who leads the Ocean League with the best record at 6-4. So there's some good games coming up. And Riley, if Hawthorne has a chance to get to the playoffs, he's going to know what it's like to go through adversity.
Perry holding on the runner at first. Here comes the pitch, and it's off the hands and falls harmlessly out of play as J.P. Sepulveda went the wrong way for it. But That ball was right off of the hands of David Roston, and he really couldn't see it.
That is what you call a jam job.
And no kidding. Better check your knuckles on that one. So over at first base with a one-out walk is David Skura. And David Roston waiting for Richard Riley's next pitch. Riley taking his time, looks over at Skura. Throws it outside. Skura's off. Sepulveda may have a play at second, but decides not to try it. And down to second on the wild pitch is David Skura. So that happened in the last inning, Beto, when a throwing error by Riley on a pickoff play and then a pass ball had Joey Axelrod 90 feet away, and now a runner in scoring position without the benefit of a hit.
Yeah, Richard Riley, that's 2 wild pitches on the day for a guy with such good control. He came into the game with only 4 wild pitches all season, and there, David Roston goes down swinging against Riley.
And there's the inconsistency, but that's strikeout number 9 for Richard Riley in just 4+ innings.
He has a K, a walk, and a K. Not exactly what you want to see from your
It's a 3 2/3
pitcher.
inning. Yeah. Marcus Miller, the only man with a hit against Riley today as a runner in scoring position, and that was a 59-foot fastball. Good save by Sepulveda.
Tough save by Sepulveda. And as Riley, we talking about, you said he has 9 strikeouts already through this game, and impressive numbers. He's only given up 1 hit, but you know, if you ask him how was your outing, he'd be a little bit disappointed. Like, I wasn't consistent enough. I didn't do as good as I can. He should be blowing through these Norman hitters.
Marcus Miller, everybody's, could he hold up? No, that's 1-1 now. Marcus Miller sees everybody on the Cougars slanted towards the left side. The center fielder, Martin, is in left center field, and Vaughn is almost on the left field line. Here comes the 1-1 pitch, and that is called strike 2, a tough pitch by Richard Riley. So now he's toughening up here.
Yeah, Marcus Miller had that base hit to left center, the only hit for the Beverly Hills, but he's a sophomore who's really impressive with his discipline at the plate.
Sure is. Just stroked it the other way, and they're not playing out too far, trying to cut off the run at the plate as Pasinger, Coach Pasinger, Vaughn Pasinger, whose cousin is a good friend of mine.
Who isn't a good friend of yours, Lou? We walk into schools and it's like, hey, Lou, hey, Lou.
Well, when I got $5 bills hanging out of my pocket, it's kind of like the dogs when they come home. They jump up on me because I have pork chops in my shirt pocket there. Not really.
Yeah, you do. Pork chops and applesauce, Lou. We know your secrets.
That's it. Then I put it right in the pot.
Yeah, by now after this game, as soon as Richard Riley gets through 7, Tom McFadden's buying tacos.
That's right, tacos for everybody. Here comes the pitch to Marcus Miller, and that's popped up down the left field line. Let's see, nice try by Vaughn. Did he get it? No.
Gary Vaughn giving up the body there on a slicing foul ball by Marcus Miller. He probably thought he was going to get a taco if he made that catch.
That's right.
But he laid out, gave up the body, just came up a little short on there.
What's that NBA team that gives tacos away if the team doesn't allow?
I think it's the Mavericks.
Allows 90 points or less.
The Chalupas. If you score
go.
under 90 points, they give away a Chalupa. Lakers do that.
Here comes Marcus Miller's pitch, and that's down the other way. Perry, nice stop, has to beat him to the bag and does. Good stop by Artis Perry, and Richard Riley wiggles his way out of another jam, Beto, as the Normans don't get any runs again, as this one's 3 unassisted to Artis Perry. No runs, 2 strikeouts, a man left on the walk as we go into the bottom of the 4th inning with Beverly Hills trailing Hawthorne 3-0.
And if you're enjoying Richard Riley and Hawthorne shut down Beverly Hills, you can watch this game and all games this season at 10 a.m. and again at 7 p.m. every Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday.
We'll be back after this on Channel 22 Sports. Bottom of the 4th inning, it'll be the Cougars. Tony Lee, as he looks at a bender in for a strike. That looked more like a screwball than a curveball. And we'll talk about Matt Ross's arsenal out on the mound. Artis Perry and J.P. Sepulveda against Matt Ross and the Normans. This one's hammered into right center field for a base hit by Tony Lee. And Tony is 2 for 2.
Matt Ross was cruising up until that hit by Tony Lee by throwing the off-speed pitches, the curveball, and like you said, what looks like a slurved screwball, but there he grooved a fastball that he's not going to blow by anybody. Tony Lee sat back and just drilled it into right center. Good piece of hitting by him.
Well, he's lucky that stayed low.
Yeah. We're watching Ross in between innings, and his warm-up pitches, he had 8 of them. 7 of them were off-speed, and he throws a 1 fastball.
That's right. Ooh, there's another off-speed pitch, and that makes Artis Perry look bad for a strike. Artis cued a single for an RBI back in the first inning. So Ross keeping Lee close. Lee has 1 stolen base in 3 tries. Artis Perry coming in, batting .273. Has 7 hits in 23 at-bats. Curveball. Boy, that was a beauty. Started up around the forehead and ended up on the letters.
Just nice bender. Skura, the catcher, David, doesn't even have to move the glove. Put down the 2, and here comes a nice bender coming to me.
And like you said, he's got about 3 or 4 variations of the curveball. That's the same one. Put a little mustard on that one, but stayed up high.
He has that real big over-the-top hanging curveball. And then he has one that throws a little bit 3/4 motion that cuts a little bit harder. And then he has that one screwball, slurvy, whatever it is. It's just slop, but it's working.
Slurpy. This one's grounded to shortstop. Might be 2 on to second for 1. Miller throws to first in the dirt, and it's dug out nicely by John Skura for the 6-4-3 double play.
Artis Perry just lines one to shortstop, 6-4-3. And nothing's easy today with that muddy infield. Shortstop, nice flip over to second. And then Skura's going to do an even better job at first, where he's going to dig it out of the dirt for the 6-4-3.
I think Artis, Beto, hit it right in the driest spot of the infield, right by pitcher's mound, as J.P. Sepulveda looks at strike 1.
See, Lou, you just said something that I know that's not out there. Dry spot.
That's right. It's just not there. We were walking around, and it was very squishy at best out there. And we didn't even dare go out on the patch job where Coach Hines was working and mess up his handiwork.
And Coach Hines did a lot of work on this field, gave him a lot of credit for getting this game in. Earlier in the day, they thought they might have to play this game at Beverly Hills.
This one's outside. Now it's 3-0 to JP, who's 0 for 1 today. Coming in, batting .308, had 4 hits and 13 at-bats coming in. And this one's a called strike, looking all the way. Now it's 3-1. So JP, well, there's just some good battery mates here in the Ocean League that we've seen, or actually here in the Lawndale Hawthorne area that we've seen. This one is low and in, and Sepulveda runs down to first base with a base on balls. And if my count is correct, that's the first walk given up by Matt Ross today.
First walk by Matt Ross. Probably disappointed with himself because he takes pride in what he's doing up there. And I'll never want to give up walks when you're such a good finesse pitcher.
That'll bring up Eric Martin. Should be a good battle again, as what did Eric have, about 8 swings, 8 pitches to look at?
He looked at 8 pitches, swung at 4 of them, fouled off 3 of them. So he's up there scrapping. That's what you want from your number 9 batter. Just keep up there battling.
So Sepulveda with 2 outs, really bothering Ross. Let's see if he's a threat. Sepulveda does not have a stolen base attempt this year, but I don't know if the youngster Ross knows it. Tipped into the glove of Skura for a strike.
Ross does a good job of holding on to his runners because there he had that real slow, deliberate leg kick. But every now and then he'll mix in a quick slide step to the plate, and if you're stealing, you can't really gauge what's he going to do.
There's a ground ball to shortstop in the hole. Slow roller goes the easy way and just does get Sepulveda sliding in on his belly. So again, nothing doing for the Cougars, and Matt Ross is doing a terrific job as now he's getting some tutelage by his pitching coach. So the Normans hold the Cougars, and there's no runs on 1 hit and 1 man left as we go into the 5th inning. It's still 3-0 Hawthorne over Beverly Hills, Beto.
And if you're in the city of Hawthorne, you can tune in to Channel 22 and watch this game between Beverly Hills and Hawthorne, where the program guide plays continuously unless there's a show airing.
We'll be right back on Channel 22 Sports. And it's 3-0 Hawthorne over Beverly Hills as the Cougars 3 runs on 7 hits, and they have left 2 batters. For Beverly Hills, no runs on 1 hit, and they have left 2 batters. So 1 error also on the Cougars.
Richard Riley for Hawthorne, their ace, doing a great job on the mound. Does not have his best stuff today. Doesn't look too comfortable out there. But Lou, he's only given up 1 hit, and he's struck out 9.
Bottom of the order for the Normans coming up. It'll be Meyer Linder. And he hammers it down the third baseline. This could be extra bases on the first pitch he sees from Riley. Vaughn over to pick it up. Throws a strike over towards second base and holds Linder to a long single. So, don't know why Linder was held at first, but they're just taking the conservative way, as now they're going to ask Matt Ross to move him over.
Meyer Linder just jumped on the first pitch he sees from Richard Riley, a liner down the left field line. Gary Vaughn doing a great job of getting over to the ball quickly. Linder took a big turn at first, but it was held because they've only had a couple base runners all game. You're down by 3. Get something going up against Riley, and here you might see Michael Ross, the pitcher, sack him over.
Now that's what Chaidez thinks, is he doesn't look like he looks like he's gonna swing away and looks at a ball. And that's only the second hit given up by Richard Riley, who has 9 strikeouts and 3 walks and has pitched a lot of pitches in his 4+ innings now. 2-0 now to Matt Ross, who bounced out as now Jeff Hines goes out. And you said something interesting in between innings, that you didn't think that Riley looked real comfortable out there today.
Yeah, he keeps looking down at the mound where he's landing and kind of just kicking it around. Usually Riley, from times we've seen him, has just been really smooth, in a groove.
Just plays catch with his catcher.
Plays catch, and he fires it, and he's actually, looks like he's laboring a bit, but you really, on the opposite side of that is, if this is called laboring, he strikes out 9. He only gives up 2 hits, and labor all you want, kid. But Richard Riley, if he knew it was on his A game right now, this could easily be a no-hitter, and we'd probably be done with this game the way he could cut through a lineup.
The way he can dominate it, yeah. And the way he shut down like the Cardinals, who are really not a bad hitting team by any means, as they showed it in the 7th inning. Actually, that's a strike.
Cardinals and the Normans match up pretty evenly.
As
and
Ross,
they're both young teams.
Hines goes out there and says,
Throw
wake
strikes.
up, please. Yeah, throw strikes, and he does what his coach tells him to. So man over at first, and Ross swinging. And it's fouled away. Now evens the count up at 2-2. So Ross had a swinging bunt down the right field line, but a good play by Riley to make the first out of the inning in the 3rd inning. As Meyer Linder is over at second, or check that over at first, being held on by Artis Perry. As the center fielder, Eric Martin, is now drifting over towards right center field, and time is called by Matt Ross.
I don't think Matt Ross is really going to be pulling the ball too much, and left-handed batter, he's going to, with a hard-throwing pitcher like Riley, he's going to be slapping it towards left field. Martin's in a good position now.
Riley throws over, and Linder is back. 6'3", 197 is Linder. And Justin Schwartz leads this team with 2 stolen bases. Linder has 1. This one is down low, now 3-2, and Matt Ross is doing a good job at the plate, making Richard Riley work. But then again, that hasn't been a big issue for the Normans, is to get Riley to work.
Riley has had 6 full counts, and of those full counts, he's come back and struck out 3 of them.
Here comes the 3-2 with the man on first. The runner goes. It's grounded towards the hole at second. Gobbled up by Velasquez. Throws out Ross, who does his job and moves the runner over to second base. So a nice bit of hitting by Matt Ross.
Matt Ross does a smart thing, gets his runner over with 2 strikes. Linter was running, but what we don't see on the camera there is that Arciniega, the shortstop, did such a great deke that Linter bailed out of the baseline. He thought Arciniega with the great deke was throwing it to first. They could have had him there, but Arciniega doing the smart thing. That's just a headsy ball player that he is, coming from that Arciniega baseball factory.
Yeah, that's right. Says now there's 1 out now, and a runner at second base for Justin Schwartz, the top of the order, and Joey Axelrod is on deck. So Richard Riley has been walking the tightrope here for the past couple of innings with runners in scoring position, and this one is a strike. A good pitch by Richard Riley. In the outfield for the Cougars, from left to right, it's Vaughn, Martin, and Lee. On the infield, from third to first, is Chaidez, Arciniega, Velasquez, and Perry. Sepulveda behind the plate, and Richard Riley is on the mound in his 5th inning of work and bounces this one, and it's right underneath JP. So it's a ball to Schwartz, who is 0 for 2. Struck out looking back in the 3rd inning.
Came back to Riley and the smooth and the flow that we're so accustomed to seeing. This will be the 5th inning. This pitch right here will be his 75th.
And that one missed low. It's 3-1.
Usually Riley needs 75 to finish 7 innings in a game.
It's 3-1 right now. Another 3-ball count, and it looks like somebody's up in the bullpen playing catch now for the Cougars. So 3-1, 1 out to man at second. Here's Riley's pitch to Schwartz, and it cuts into the outside corner of the plate, strike 2.
Looks like Chris Bonilla is up in the bullpen, the reliever for Hawthorne.
And he's a good one. We saw him last time.
Grandpa does the stats here at Hawthorne, providing all these great numbers that we have, making our jobs easier.
Sure does. And they're doing a play over at second as Velasquez almost snuck in underneath the base runner, Meyer Linter. So a nice play. That's a dangerous play in any league.
You throw that into center field with that wet grass, the ball's going to die. Linter's going to get to third easily, and if he's got a good jump, maybe take a big turn.
Here comes the pitch. It's popped straight up on the infield. It should be Chaidez's ball, but being called off by Arciniega. Look out as Jesse puts it away for the 2nd out. So time is called as Schwartz pops it up to shortstop, and that'll bring up Joey Axelrod.
And Riley continues to thrive there. In trouble again, his 7th full count at bat, and only 1 batter has reached, and that was Axelrod on a walk. Everybody else is either struck out or grounded out.
So Richard Riley is trying to wash this Norman team right out of his hair as this one's popped up and out of play. Look out. It's on the land. Wait, just missed that car across the street in the driveway.
These neighbors must love when there's games here.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I use that reference because, well, Richard Riley, not Richard Kiley, but Richard Kiley, the terrific singer-actor who starred in South Pacific and all that. But my grandmother told me about that. So
My great uncle Lou Stowers just told me about that.
Axelrod looks at the big bender by Riley. It stays away.
Yeah, that curveball by Riley, really haven't seen him use the off-speed pitch much today. It's been really relying on the fastball change. And there you see a nice bender. He really hasn't used that at all.
He's been relying on a slider as well, Beto.
But if it's working, keep with it.
Look out. That one hits Axelrod right between the 1 and the 6. And that puts the 2nd runner on.
Axelrod's having a rough day. 2nd inning, he makes a nice sliding catch in the lake that's in center.
Lake Hawthorne.
Yeah, Lake Hawthorne. And then he goes and takes a fastball in the back on a nice, cold, windy day. Even though it might be sunny, it's still cold.
He's going to have one of those starburst bruises like an eclipse.
Yeah, it's about to say Rawlings on the
morning.
back. He's
going to have those stitches in the back.
Nice tattoo. Where'd you get it? Richard Riley.
Yeah, at Riley's place. That'll bring up John Skura, no laughing matter for the Cougars, as he now has 2 runners on, as a chance to really hurt as this one's popped up. Artis Perry's calling for it. The wind takes it, and Perry stays with it and puts Skura and the Normans away in the top of the 5th inning. So no runs on 1 hit and 2 men left. And we go into the bottom of the 5th inning, and the score is still 3-0 Hawthorne over Beverly Hills, Beto.
And you can watch this game between Hawthorne and Beverly Hills in all games this season involving Hawthorne, Lusinger, and Lawndale High Schools at 10 a.m. and again at 7 p.m. every Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday.
We'll be back after this. Bottom of the 5th coming up on Channel 22 Sports. Top of the order facing Matt Ross, Ricardo Velasquez, who looks at ball 1, Gary Vaughn, and Jesse Arciniega, as the Cougars lead the Normans 3-0. Cougars with 3 runs on 7 hits, and the Normans no runs on 2 hits.
And Matt Ross doing a good job after that rough first inning where he gave up 3 runs. Looked like he was going to get hit all over the place. He's really controlled himself, kept Beverly Hills in this game.
This one's grounded right up the middle, over the pitcher's mound at second base, and through for a base hit. So now it's 3 for 3 is Ricardo Velasquez.
Ross coming into this game had only pitched 10 innings. He got 2 losses, had 1 start, but Beverly Hills coach was telling us he's made an improvement each and every game, and today is probably the best game he's ever pitched, because the first inning, look, he threw 20 pitches, then he calmed down. The next he threw 11, and following in the third he threw 12, and the fourth he threw 13, really being conservative in conserving pitches.
Gary Vaughn, no secrets, turned around to bunts as a smart play by a young pitcher throwing back to first base to get Velasquez back. Velasquez pretty speedy, as he has 2 stolen bases in 3 attempts. This one's up high. And Ross, without that big follow-through, comes straight down off the mound and is ready to field the ball.
Feels it just like an infielder. And sometimes what you might see coaches put on is when they show the sacrifice, they're going to have their runner at first steal. And if he gets it down, a good sacrifice down the third baseline, sometimes you might just be wheeling the runner over the third, and instead of just being a sacrifice, it's called a sacrifice steal.
Ross looks over at Velasquez, now deals with Vaughn. Nice pitch inside to back Vaughn off the plate, and it's 2-0. As coming in, Bogarts and Skura from the corners, third and first respectively.
And if Vaughn is able to get a good bunt down the third base line, Ross, the pitcher, needs to do a great job of getting to third base and cover that bag.
And Vaughn pulls it away, but it's a called strike anyway. That was a good pitch on the outside corner. 2-1 now. But all Vaughn has to do is get that ball down in the mud, and it's just going to stick there. So hopefully he'll get it far enough away from the catcher, David Skura.
Nothing's a gimme here, because the third baseman, Bogart.
This one's lined over the head of the second baseman and into right center field. Velasquez slides late and is safe. Look out, he's got to check his shin bone on that one. He slid about 6 feet away from the bag, and you hate to see that.
Gary Vaughn improves his batting average, came into the game batting .409 there. He shows the sacrifice, pulls it back, the old slash, drives it into right field.
Now he's 2 for 3, 2 base hits. And thought that Jeff Hines was taking a little bit too long for another bunt sign on that last pitch. So now Ross is in a mess with Jesse Arciniega. Jesse batting .238 coming in, and he's squared around a bunt. Big bender is high and away for ball 1. Arciniega 0 for 2 was on in the first inning on a fielder's choice and scored. Jesse has 4 RBIs on the year and does have 1 double in his 5 hits. This one is straight and stays up. 2-0, so Matt Ross in a mess. Let's see how the youngster gets out of this one, how he can get out of this one. Runners over at second and first first baseman coming way down, almost in the front pocket of Arciniega, is John Skura, and out goes the pitching coach for Beverly Hills. It's 3-0 now to Jesse Arciniega.
Yeah, Ross, first time he's seen any kind of trouble since the first inning, and there are 3 straight pitches to Arciniega, the number 3 batter, with big Dago Perez, as you call him, Spider-Man, ready to climb over that outfield fence if he leaves one hanging.
If anyone can do it, he sure can. Spider-Man, Spider-Man. But he's on deck right now. It's Jesse Arciniega. Has 2 Cougars out on the base paths. Richard Velasquez and Gary Vaughn. Jesse twirling the bat, waiting for Ross's pitch, and nice job of hitting by Arciniega. Lets that settle in low. Now the bases are juiced for the Spider-Man. And that's only the second walk of the game given up by Ross. As Big Dago, second leading hitter on this team at 400 coming in, but he struck out twice. Actually, struck out and had base hits, and this one is foul.
Coach Hines trying to make a play over there at third base in the box. A little Dago Perez foul grounder.
It's a spider bite.
Interesting that Beverly Hills is playing the infield back with no outs instead of trying to cut off the run.
Looks like they're looking for a double play.
They're going to concede the 1 run and try to get a double play here.
Here comes the pitch, and that's fouled at the plate, strike 2. So Dago in a hole, 0-2. So Dago has a base hit and an RBI and scored a run in the first inning and then struck out in the third inning.
And he has not seen 1 fastball and don't expect him to.
Way outside, and you can't put him anywhere.
That's smart by Ross, though. You have 0-2, way ahead of Dago Perez. Don't give him anything anywhere near the plate with 2 strikes and no balls. Throw it away. See if he'll chase one here.
Now he has another pitch to waste and does just that. 2-2. So now he's got to get back to work.
And he knows that Perez is real anxious, a good hitter, that he struck him out once on an off-speed pitch. You know he's anxious, especially with the bases loaded. Be the smart pitcher, control yourself, maybe throw something that he doesn't want to hit.
Perez with 15 RBIs, swings and misses. It pops out of the glove, but nothing doing. It's strike 3, and the second time that Matt Ross has struck out the big guy for the Cougars.
Dago Perez has not seen 1 fastball from Matt Ross, and the lefty there did a great piece of pitching. Had him down 0-2, had to throw him 2 off-speed pitches way out of the zone that Perez laid off. There he came with that hard slurve, screwball, whatever it is, and got him.
On the inside part of the plate after 2 way up and away. Now you can't be cheapened by Chaidez either, and he knows that, as this one is outside.
Ross needs to keep his composure. Hey, no letdown here, because Chaidez has the power to put one over the fence, and here a chance to put Hawthorne up by 7 with the grand slam.
He can put it deep. The wind is blown out towards left, and Chaidez was just going to let that one hit him, but it's inside. 2-0, bases jam-packed with big kitties. Velasquez, Vaughn, and Arciniega out there. 3-0. Cougars already lead, 1 down, and Ross, here comes the 0-2, and that's hammered and through into left field. Here comes Velasquez. Vaughn is being held up at their base, and probably a good idea because a strong throw by Roston was coming in, and it's 4-0 on the RBI single by Juan Chaidez, who comes through again.
Juan Chaidez picking up for Dago Perez, and Chaidez is going to pick up his 11th RBI of the season with that base hit that scores Velasquez and puts up Hawthorne 4-0.
Now Tony Lee turns around here, turns Ross around as he's left-handed. And this one is way outside.
Lee has 2 nice base hits, a couple line drive hits for himself, and he's looking to add to his. Only has 2 RBIs on the season. A double here, a base hit can score 2.
Ross looking around, all he sees is Cougars on the base paths, and a nice off-speed pitch that finds the outside corner. Strike 1, 1-1. So it's 4-0, and the Cougars finally strike against Ross, but they had to load the bases up with nobody out to do it. curveball and somehow does not find the strike zone. It's 2-1.
And somehow Tony Lee laid off of that nice enticing pitch by Matt Ross. But if he would have gone after that pitch, it had such a bite on it, he probably would have popped it up.
Here it comes and swings in another one. And on the infield, the throw in, and that's a force out. Out at home is Gary Vaughn for the second out. And on at first, on the fielder's choice, is Tony Lee. So Ross did a good job to make Tony Lee swing at a bad pitch.
Jonathan Skura was playing up, and his only play was the home plate. Throws it to his brother, David Skura, to get Vaughn forced out at the plate and keep Matt Ross in this ball game still.
So the bases are still loaded, and that brings up Artis Perry. And don't you think the young kid would love to get a hold of one right now? And Ross isn't going to let him, though, as this one's up and away. Artis Perry, just a sophomore.
That was the 80th pitch of the game for Matt Ross, the 24th this inning.
Ross with 6 RBIs. And he hammers this one into left field. Coming around to score is Arciniega to make it 5-0. And look out. Good play to get back, dive back as Juan Chaidez. RBI single by Artis Perry. So the young kid comes through.
Good piece of hitting by Artis Perry. Picks up his 7th RBI of the season. Sat back there, and Ross has been able to keep him off balance by off-speed pitches. Makes the adjustment the third time around. Drills one into left field for the RBI.
And they're just hitting the ball good. They're not trying to take Ross deep and take advantage of this win. They're just trying to get line drives and get the runs home.
Put it in play, and they're getting to Matt Ross. Good piece of hitting by the entire Cougar team.
Now J.P. Sepulveda looked like he was going to drag bunt a run home, squeeze a run home, but he looks at a strike. And that's a good coaching. These kids listen to Coach Hines because they're not going for the knockout punch. They're just like a boxer, and just a good jab here, good jab there, and a good body punch. Swing and foul tipped into the glove of Skura. It's 0-2 to the Cougar catcher. J.P. Sepulveda is not real happy with himself.
No, Sepulveda's trying to get his season going. Not really getting many games to hit. Usually it's DH for, but today he gets a chance to show he's got here with the bases loaded.
This one's outside. 1-2, and Ross is not happy with himself on that one. 5-0 is the score. 2 runs in here in the 5th inning. As the bases are still loaded, there's been a little bit of a Cougar merry-go-round, and JP wants to keep it going with 2 down. Did he hold up? Now they're asking for help. Did he swing and miss? As Jerry Flory asked for help and no swing. So it's 2-2 to J.P. Sepulveda, who thought he swung and missed, wanted to go down to first, but there was nowhere to go.
He tried to check his swing, but interesting though, Lou, with 2 outs, if you drop the ball, you still have to make a force out at the plate. Skura did what he did the smart thing as a catcher. Bases loaded, step on home plate, and it's a force out anywhere instead of risking the throw to first.
Curveball called, strike 3, and Matt Ross does it again, but the damage has been done by the Cougars in the 5th inning. They send 8 Cougars to the plate, score 2 runs on 4 hits, and leave 3 batters. As we go to the 6th inning, the Cougars lead the Normans 5-0, and here's Beto.
And Channel 22 Sports and our entire crew would like to thank our sponsors, Holiday Inn Express Hotel and Suites South Bay, the South Bay Workforce Investment Board, for their generous support and making these exciting games possible.
We'll be back with the 6th inning on Channel 22 Sports. It is 5-0 Hawthorne over Beverly Hills. 6th inning just about ready to start, as the Cougars have put up 5 runs on 11 hits and have left 5 batters, left the bases loaded in that inning. And Richard Riley doing a terrific job, giving up no runs on 2 hits, and 4 have been left. And 9 strikeouts for Richard Riley, 3 walks, but he's thrown a lot of pitches, has hit a couple of batters. And I don't think Max Preps might have heard about this guy too much because they figured the final score was going to be 8-6.
If you base it just on the team's averages, yeah, but forget that Richard Riley, who just has notched his 40th strikeout of the season, was on the mound for Hawthorne.
You know, it's kind of like Richard Riley's game today is kind of like what Jeff Hines had to do in the infield and in the outfield. You know, just kind of had to do a lot of work to get it done, and that's what Richard Riley's doing today, doing a lot of work to get it done. As he's now 2-0 to Mike Kernan, followed by David Skura and David Roston. And I think I went a long way to try to explain that one.
You were saying something there about Riley's.
Never mind. This one's hit high in the air to center field. Back goes Martin, still going back, and pulls it in. So Martin had to run that one down, and it's one away. So not an easy play going away. A terrific play by Eric Martin.
Terrific play by Eric Martin, because as a center fielder, the hardest ones to field are the balls that hit directly at you because they're hard to gauge here. And he went a long ways with the ball being carried by the wind over the shoulder catch. Nice piece of running and fielding by Eric Martin.
This is just like Candlestick Park on a good day.
Well, another factor is here at Hawthorne, behind home plate, there is no real backdrop. You have to really zone in and focus on the pitch that Riley throws if you're the outfielder in order to pick up the ball off the bat, because there is no screen back here where you can pick it up.
It's a good thing you're not wearing your pink paisley jacket today.
That's why I don't wear it about Hawthorne.
There you go. You wear it in Beverly Hills?
Yes.
Okay.
And there you saw the angle where behind home plate it's just essentially fence, and it's really tough to pick up on a nice day like today where there are no clouds. It's just a big blue sky. Eric Martin did a tough job in fielding that ball.
As Skura looks at a strike from Riley. Well, back here their backdrop is three big guys.
Hey, speak for yourself there. I'm a slender.
All right, two big guys and a medium.
And Paul.
3-1 now. Is Paul up here too?
Paul's up here.
Man, I didn't know this play thing could hold that much weight.
And
Not
he has
that
the
Paul's
chips.
a big guy. Always got the chips. No wonder. Take your headset off if you're going to have one. Swung on it, missed strike two, and now it's 3-2 to David Skura. Skura is 0 for 1 with a walk. Struck out swinging in the second inning on a 3-2 pitch, and walked and was wild pitched to second. And looks at a ball low and gets another walk. So good eye by Skura, as that is the fourth walk of the game given up by Richard Riley, but he has 9 strikeouts.
And there you see Riley, like you said, Luke, just has 9 strikeouts on the game, but that's the 8th full count at bat he's gone. Not exactly what you want to see from your ace pitcher.
First pitch is away to David Roston, who has struck out twice. Roston playing left field for the Normans. This one's fouled back.
I had that one. I was all over that foul ball, Lou.
Do you have your glove with you?
No, I had my manilla.
Okay.
Mi guante.
Your little hand. So now it's 0-2 to Roston, with a runner over at first and one down for Riley. Big curveball, and that's outside, 1-2. So Jerry Flory is the umpire, calling balls and strikes, and out keeping his mind on the bases is Steve Morgan. Richard Riley in his 6th inning of work. And gets Roston for the 3rd time.
Give him the caller there.
10 strikeouts now for Richard Riley.
And there you saw just Riley just completely dominate Roston. And each time Roston's come up, it's, a strikeout swing, and he's up there battling, but Riley just blowing him away.
Well, it was low outside and then up and in. Here comes Marcus Miller, who has one of the hits, and this is going to land in the streets. And Tom Strickfaden said, I don't know if you want to park there. right where that ball just landed. So thanks, Tom, for saving my windshield.
So I don't get, why do people come to Hawthorne games and park right next to the ball field? And
Don't know.
advisory, folks, when you do come watch these exciting Cougars, don't park next to the field.
Everybody swings at the pitches, and it's 1-1 to Marcus Miller, who had a base hit the other way and had Artis Perry scoop up a hard ground ball and beat him to the bag. So 1 for 2. Miller, a promising young sophomore, playing second base. And fished this one over shortstop. Arciniega going back, couldn't pick it up. And, well, he does pick it up and put it away for the third out of the inning. So no runs on no hits, a man left as we go into the bottom of the 6th inning, with the Cougars still leading the Normans 5-0. And here's Beto.
And you can watch this game and all games this season involving Hawthorne, Lawndale, losing your high schools at 10 a.m. and again the repeat at 7 p.m. every Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday.
5-0 Cougars. We'll be back after this. Bottom of the 6th inning here at Hawthorne High School. Glad you joined us, everybody, along with the terrific Channel 22 crew. It is Beto Duran to my right, and I'm Lou Stowers. Thanks for joining us. Eric Martin, the bottom of the order, but certainly not a number 9 hitter by any means. He'd be a number 1 hitter most everywhere else, but that's Ricardo Velasquez's job, and then it'll be Gary Vaughn against Matt Ross, who's gone all the way. Has been in trouble just 2 innings as he throws the first pitch inside for a ball. Eric Martin popped up to center field and was on a fielder's choice, but that first at bat was something else.
Yeah, that first at bat by Martin, he battled Ross for 8 pitches. Then the next one, his second at bat, he grounded it short. He's up there taking his hacks, but he does this. He wears pitchers down, and he allows the rest of his team to get a feel for what this pitcher has. And he comes up, it seems like every inning he's leading off, and he's up there battling, and he gives the Cougars on deck or in the hole a chance to see what the arsenal is left in this pitcher.
Another David Eckstein type, and did that bite him in the back? Nope, I guess it missed him. Looked like it might have hit his jersey, but Eric Martin's just breathing a sigh of relief. And what a play out in center field Eric made last inning.
Eric made a nice play in center field where he just drifted back deep center and snagged the fly ball.
And not easy when you're trying to dig into
Mud.
that soggy area out there. As Martin earns a walk.
Martin's got some wheels, right?
Oh, yeah.
He can steal.
Martin is the leader. He has 5 stolen bases, hasn't been caught, but he's been left on base 4 times.
This should be a good battle because Ross is the lefty. He's already picked off 1 runner as he's being visited by his pitching coach. Picked off a runner early in the game, and he's doing a good job of holding the runners at first with that quick slide step, and then every now and then he'll mix in a big leg kick, so you really can't gauge, and he doesn't fall into a rhythm of what he's going to do. And Eric Martin, who loves to run on the bases, it should be a good battle over there.
Should, as Matty Ross has done a terrific job for Coach Pasinger. Has given up 5 runs on 11 hits, but has really done a terrific job, all things considered.
The 2 innings where the runs were scored were his 2 innings where he had a rough time.
Velasquez looking to move the runner along, but looks at strike 1, says Jerry Flory. Velasquez has been busy, has 3 hits in his 3 at-bats, and has scored a run. Was caught stealing back in the 2nd inning and cut down at 3rd in the 1st. Let's keep an eye on Martin. Curveball swung on a miss. Velasquez unscrewed out of his hat again.
This might be a good time for Martin to run. 0-2 counts, and the fact that Ross throws a lot of off-speed pitches, you know he's probably going to throw something either in the dirt or away from the hitter. A good chance for Martin to run on a bad pitch.
His lead foot is at the cut of the grass. Ross looks over there. 0-2 to Velasquez. Snap throw down, Skura to Skura, and scurrying back is Martin. So it's 1-2 now. Another good pitch to steal on. So now they've seen the move from Skura to Skura. Martin's lead is a little bit bigger. Here comes the 1-2 to Velasquez. Slow curveball. And that's outside 2-2. So with a pitcher up there that's not going to throw heat, Martin could probably beat him down there.
Yeah, being down there if he gets a good jump, but he takes the risk of getting picked off by the lefty. But it's easier actually to get leads against the lefty because if you're not going anywhere, you have a one-way lead where you lean back to first.
Big Bender is outside 3-2 now. But Ross, picked off Velasquez back in the second inning. So I'm sure that Eric Martin remembers that as well. But with a 5-0 lead, they're not trying to pile anything on here either.
But you're also trying to get as many runs as you can for Richard Riley.
Also for playoffs. There goes Martin. The pitch is hit high and hard into right field. Axelrod, so over his head, and it goes to the wall. Here comes Eric Martin speeding around third and home on the RBI double by Ricardo Velasquez to make it 6-0 Hawthorne.
Great piece of hitting by Ricardo Velasquez. He worked the count to full against Matt Ross and just drilled a mistake that Ross left over the plate, and he buried that into deep center. Picked up a double and another RBI for Velasquez here on the season, his second. He doubles his total.
And that'll bring up Gary Vaughn with the home run. This is high and away. So Matt Ross, we'll see how this affects him because he did so well to keep Eric Martin close. And it's now 6-0. Ross looks back at Velasquez. And that one tied up Vaughn, 0-1. Just went right after Gary.
Yeah, that's a tough pitch for anybody to hit, especially Gary Vaughn was such a good hitter. But a pitch from a lefty at 3/4 angle, cutting across at your hands, that's tough pitch to handle.
Gary is 2 for 3, bounces this one to shortstop. Schwartz picks it up and fires over to first, and holding over at second is Velasquez. So 6-3 on the putout, and Vaughn is down. And he is now 2 for 4, and that brings up Jesse Arciniega looking down at Jeff Hines.
Arciniega's had a real quiet afternoon for the number 3 hitter. He had a sacrifice and he grounded it, or popped up to second, and he walked on 4 straight.
Well, he scored 2 runs as well. Was out on a fielder's choice and scored in the first, and walked on 4 straight pitches in the 5th and scored, and is ahead of Ross right now, 1-0 with Velasquez on at second base. This one bends in for strike 1, evens it up in 1-1.
So Matt Ross, once he grows, he's going to be a pretty good kid. He's only a sophomore, but you can see he has that little bit of a lanky build, and he's just going to stretch, and he's learning how to pitch at the varsity level, which is just going to make him dangerous by the time he's a senior, if not later on this year.
Yeah, later on this year, he's going to get a lot of experience. This is only the 8th game for Beverly Hills, as they've had a lot of rainouts and just didn't want to travel, just went ahead and canceled the games instead of going out and traveling 2 or 3 hours away. As Arciniega swings and misses, and Ross makes him look bad on the last 2 pitches.
That is right there what you want to do if you're a pitcher and you're way ahead of the count. He was up 1-2 against Arciniega. Throw a pitch as far away as you can and see if they go fishing. Arciniega, over anxious, went after that pitch.
That's right, as he didn't get the pitch before that. And now here comes Perez. Dago has a base hit in 3 at-bats, and now looks at another strike. So Dago's got to be thinking about this little kid, Matt Ross.
It's annoying, too, when you're a big monster guy who just can nail the ball anywhere you want. It's like, why is my neighbor throwing little darts at me and I'm not able to get them?
Little BBs. They're not going to hurt him, but this has punched him out. Now it's 1-1. Dago's listed 6'1", 250. Matt Ross, 5'6", 130. Not what you'd see in the wrestling match in the gym. But they're going at it head-to-head, tooth and nail. And it's 2-2.
And the beauty of baseball is that anybody of any size can play.
That's
it's
what
a
I love
football
about
game. No way. Ross just runs over Perez, right?
That's right. It's
or runs the other way.
That's a bad coyote fall. Wile E. Coyote fall. And good piece of hitting by Perez to lay off of that one. That's has been Dago's downfall.
Dago, you know, big guy, fills out that uniform well.
Loving life, living large. This one's popped up down the first baseline. Is it going to blow back in? It does, and John Skura puts it away in a thoroughly frustrating day for Dago Perez, who had a base hit, an RBI, and scored in the first, and has gone 0 for 3 since, striking out twice and now popping up to first base to end the 6th inning and stranding a runner out at second base, Ricardo Velasquez. But Velasquez does knock in Eric Martin, who's been a pest as well all day for Matt Ross. And the score going into the 7th inning, it's last call for the Normans. It is 6-0 Cougars over the Normans, and here's Beto.
And all you Richard Riley and Hawthorne Cougar fans, you can watch. We would like to thank our sponsors, Holiday Inn Express Hotel and Suite South Bay, the South Bay Workforce Investment Board, for their generous support in making these games possible.
We'll be back after this. 7th inning coming up. It is 6-0 Cougars. Boy, don't you just wish... Oh, that shot's gone. Gosh, dog it. Why'd you take that shot off?
Eric.
Oh, my goodness. I thought we were going to have the water tower shot.
What's with the water tower?
Oh, never mind. It's just another one of the... This is just... I've been 0 for 5 in jokes here today. So I'm just going to go away.
Who's keeping track here?
Okay, all right. Oh, there it is. Don't you wish you just had a big driver come out of the sky and hit that?
And you would probably miss.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, Tom Strickfaden came up with that joke. It wasn't funny when he said it either. Oh, well.
Well, we got a new pitcher on the mound, Lou.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Chris Bonilla is in relief of Richard Riley. Bonilla has pitched 5 innings this year. He started 1 game, has 7 strikeouts and 5 walks with an ERA of 5.25.
And that is the second ball that he served up to the designated hitter, Meyer Linter. Then it'll be the bottom of the order, Matt Ross, who may be pinch hit for, but Matty has a bat in his hands.
He's not coming out.
He's been like a bull terrier out there.
He's still looking for the first hit of his career.
Could be. Fastball is fouled into the dirt as Linter went fishing.
So that closes the books out on Riley. He faced 25 batters, Lou. And he actually, the numbers will say he had a great game, but a bit of a struggle for him at times. But he battled through it, came out strong ahead. Many full counts that he went to, but he never really was in any kind of trouble. No runs scored, and I believe he only gave up 2 hits.
Gave up 2 hits in his 6 innings of work, no runs, and 10 strikeouts, 4 walks, 2 hit batsmen, as here comes the 2-2 to Linter, and that's bounced up in front of him, 3-2. And now has 41 strikeouts on the season and stands to go to 4-1 should Bonilla hold the Normans here in the 7th inning. It's last call for Beverly Hills.
Richard Riley just continues to improve, and more than a week since he's pitched last, and that might have shown a bit today, but still impressive with the way he came out here and handled these Normans.
Ground ball. Chaidez picks it up at third base, has a long throw. Nice throw. Perry picks it up. Nice play by Juan Chaidez.
Great play by Juan Chaidez. That ball was hit in through that mud pit that's in front of the third baseman. Had to go to his left, picked it up, and Linter running hard down the line, able to make that throw on the run. Nails him at first by a step easily.
Watch the throw by Juan Chaidez. He throws it on a line. No loop in his throw across the infield. Nice pickup throw on the run.
And that's not an easy throw to make either.
That's the best throw I've seen him make. And that's in for a strike to Matt Ross, who gets our Medal of Valor medal today, as he's just been under fire all day, but has held up. Looks at an off-speed pitch from Bonilla. It's 1-1.
Ross went 6 innings, and coming into this game, had only thrown 10, so he's almost there. But the first inning, what did he do? He gives up 3 runs, never wavered, stuck with himself, stayed with what was working, which is that big off-speed pitch, and he really only gave up 5 runs, was never really in any kind of trouble, maybe except in the 5th, where he had a couple walks. That was his downfall. But Matt Ross, impressive outing today for Beverly Hills.
Absolutely. And he looks at another ball, and now it's 2-1 to Matt Ross as the Cougars, first place in the Ocean League with Santa Monica, have won 5 out of 6. Lost their last game to Santa Monica, 11-2 up there. But home has been where the heart is, as they are 5-2 here. So the Cougars, after this game, play at Beverly Hills.
And there Matt
tomorrow.
Ross is arguing the calls, and he's still a gamer. He's up there battling like, hey, come on now. You're going to call that a strike? And you're not supposed to even look back at the umpire and argue your balls and strikes, but he's like, come on.
Dude. And now he pokes this one down the left field line. Could be trouble, but the wind holds it up in time for Gary Vaughn to get under it for out number 2.
Well, it's been a good day on the mound for Matt Ross. Still a tough day at the plate. Still looking for his first varsity hit, but Matt Ross, a lot of game in that kid, and he's going to be around for a while for Beverly Hills, and he's only going to get better and keep these Norman team in there. And he did a great job on the mound. Gave the hat trick to, actually no, he struck out Dago Perez twice, but
still hung the collar on him after a base hit and an RBI hit back in the first inning.
And that's not his forte, is to come out and overpower people. It's put the ball, let the batters hit, let my defense do their job, and he did a great job.
Well, that's a guy that you just can't let hit.
No.
Swing and a miss to Justin Schwartz, who is match point here.
The real damage that Hawthorne did came from their 8-9-1 hitters. Eric Martin, Rick Velasquez, they were all over the place today.
Well, as we try to add up our score here for the Holiday Inn and Suites and Express. Wait a minute. It's the Holiday Inn Express and Suites player of the game. I always have trouble with that one. But those are 3 of the guys that I was thinking about for our player of the game. Should Chris Bonilla shut the door on the Normans here? Swing and a miss. And I do believe that's 1-2 now. 2-2. Thanks, Jerry. Jerry Flory, our home plate umpire. Now Bonilla. Now it's match point. Bonilla looking to end it right here. Justin Schwartz looking to keep it alive. Swings and misses. Down goes Schwartz. Down goes Beverly Hills. And the Cougars win the ball game 6-0 over Beverly Hills. So Bonilla goes 1 inning and strikes out 1, goes 1-2-3 with the Normans. But Richard Riley is now 4-1 on the season. And still a terrific performance by him, but it was Ricardo Velasquez who had 4 hits and an RBI to really put things away and scored a run. And we'll have to figure out who our Holiday Inn Express and Suites player of the game is when we come back. But this one, a thoroughly frustrating game for Beverly Hills and a thoroughly satisfying one for Hawthorne.
And this game has been a broadcast by a possible cooperative agreement between the City of Lawndale Community Cable Television, Channel 22, and the City of Hawthorne Community Cable Television, Channel 22.
We'll be back with the totals right after this on Channel 22 Sports. Hawthorne wins this one 6-0 over Beverly Hills in Beverly Hills Ocean League opener, so they fall to 0-1 in the Ocean League. Meanwhile, Hawthorne, depending on what Santa Monica High School does, is in first place, continues to stay in first place at 2-1 in the Ocean League and improves to 7-4 overall. Beverly Hills' overall record now drops to 1-7. The winning pitcher is Richard Riley, 4-1 on the year, went 6 innings, gave up no runs on only 2 hits, struck out 10, walked 4, and hit 2 batters, also had a couple of wild pitches. Chris Bonilla pitched the final inning, went 1-2-3 against the Normans, and struck out the final batter of the night, and that was Justin Schwartz. And leading the way for the losing pitcher, I should say, is Matt Ross, who is now 0-3, went 6 innings on 12 hits, struck out 4, had 2 walks, but what a future Matt Ross has with the Normans.
Matt Ross, the sophomore, takes the loss here, but did a great job of keeping these Hawthorne hitters off balance. The only one he really couldn't get was our player of the game, Ricardo Velasquez.
That's right. Ricardo Velasquez is our Holiday Inn Express and Suites player of the ball game. Was 4 for 4, also had a double, a run scored, and an RBI. Just exactly what you would want your leadoff man to do.
Yep.
So Velasquez will improve as he came in batting .227, so his batting average should skyrocket up around the .250 mark,
Actually,
maybe
goes up
higher.
to .289. He doubles his RBI production to 2 runs, 9 hits on the season now for Velasquez. Had been struggling, but hey, it was a breakout effort. And when hitters like Dago Perez and Arciniega have a quiet day, that's what Hawthorne needs, is the number 9 batters, number 1 batters to pick it up, and Velasquez did more than that. He carried this team with 4 hits and a big double in the 5th.
Well, it was a big first inning by the Cougars, who scored 3 runs in the 1st and then scored 2 more runs in the 5th and 1 in the 6th to close down Beverly Hills 6-0. And, well, that's a terrific ball game by the Hawthorne Cougars, who are in first place 2-1 in Ocean League action and 7-4 overall. Well, that should do it for us here from Hawthorne High School, Beto, as our next battle will be next Tuesday. It'll be another crosstown rivalry. Lusinger will come right here to Hawthorne High School, and then we'll have another battle on the 17th of April, Lusinger at Lawndale. That will be our second look at those two teams playing each other. And boy, it's just some 3 terrific teams that we get to watch here on Channel 22 Sports.
Yeah, 3 good quality teams, and having Hawthorne face Lusinger in our next broadcast is exciting because Hawthorne plays Beverly Hills one more time. That might prove, if they keep at it, the record of 8-4, and then
3-1 in the league.
3-1 in the league, and they're getting momentum rolling. If what was a slow start, this Hawthorne team is peaking at the right time, which is in Ocean League action.
That's right. They do play Beverly Hills tomorrow at Beverly Hills High School. So congratulations to Jeff Hines and the Hawthorne Cougars, also Richard Riley, for going 4-1 on the season, 10 more strikeouts, has 41 on the season, and to our Holiday Inn Express and Suites player of the ball game, Ricardo Velasquez. Congratulations to them for their 6-0 victory over the Normans. Well, Beto, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Thanks a lot, Lou. A lot of fun.
All right, as always, and thanks to Tom Strickfaden and the always terrific and fun-loving crew of the Channel 22 Sports team, I'm Lou Stowers saying until next week, so long. The preceding presentation of this Channel 22 Sports Game of the Week was brought to you in part by a generous donation from the Holiday Inn Express Hotel and Suites, South Bay. The Holiday Inn Express is partnering with Channel 22 Sports to help promote our young people in sports competition and academics so that everyone in our community wins. The Holiday Inn Express Hotel and Suites. Stay smart. The preceding presentation of this Channel 22 Sports Game of the Week was brought to you in part by a generous donation from the South Bay Workforce Investment Board. The South Bay Workforce Investment Board is working together with Channel 22 Sports to promote an environment where everyone can maximize their career potential and so that all employers have the human resources they need to grow and prosper. The South Bay Workforce Investment Board. When you need us, we are there for you.